With the ANC and PAC gone, it left many black South Africans politically homeless. There was little resistance to the National Party throughout the 60s and early 70s. MK's attempts to infiltrate South Africa ended in failure. On the other hand, the 1960s and 70s were a golden age for white South Africa. The economy grew rapidly, reaching an annual 8% GDP growth in 1973. The National Party had rapidly increased the size and efficiency of its army and police force. The apartheid policy also seemed to be working, as the Bantustans transferred to self-rule, and a few even independence. In 1970, black South Africans living in white areas lost their citizenship. With the economic and military growth, South Africa was regionally secure as well. Its allies Rhodesia, modern-day Zimbabwe, and Portuguese Angola and Mozambique, also ruled by white minorities, had similar success in containing communist rebellions in their own countries. America and Britain had an official, later covert, economic and military alliance with South Africa. Apartheid by the beginning of the 1970s looked like it would never end. In the hearts and minds of black South Africans, the ANC became distant, and it was this feeling of political homelessness that Inkatha emerged. With the ANC, communists, and PAC gone, new movements emerged in South Africa, ones that weren't political parties or too confrontational. The reasons for this was to avoid getting banned. The two largest movements were the Black Conscious Movement and Inkatha. The BCM was made up of various different organizations, mostly focused on welfare, economic and cultural issues. It was also an intellectual movement that aimed to help black South Africans get over their feelings of inferiority. The BCM movement was started by South African intellectual Steve Biko, who became a recognized name throughout South Africa. In the Bantustan of KwaZulu, home to South Africa's largest ethnic group, the isiZulu, a chief was about to change the dynamics of South Africa. Once again, this was Zulu chief Mangosuthu Buthelezi, the nephew of Zulu King Solomon Katen Zulu and the cousin of Cyprian Beke Zulu. And when Cyprian died and his son Goodwill Zwetini became king in 1970, his uncle Buthelezi became head of KwaZulu. Buthelezi was a well-educated man who had joined the ANC when he was in university, where he had met PAC leader Robert Sebukwe and future Zimbabwean president Robert Mugabe. With the opposition to apartheid crushed and the homeland policy rolling on, Buthelezi was now de facto head of KwaZulu and had to deal with pressure from the apartheid government to make KwaZulu independent. And this would have been a catastrophe for black South Africans had Buthelezi accepted. At the time, South Africa's 7 million Zulus constituted a quarter of South Africa's population. Accepting it an independence would have made them foreigners in their own country. Buthelezi, a proud Zulu chief, was expected to accept and revive the long-lost kingdom of the Zulus. But Buthelezi rejected it and publicly resisted pressure, making him popular. To organize and resist apartheid, Buthelezi revived an old Zulu cultural organization, Inkatha Yekulu Leko Yesizwe. Inkatha membership grew rapidly, and within a year after its founding, it had 30,000 members. Buthelezi regularly spoke at political rallies, and his fame grew throughout the 1970s. Although the ANC and Inkatha had been strong allies, their relationship would turn sour, and it would have dire consequences for South Africa.